How sprinklers are manufactured. Brought to you by the Irrigators Underground online magazine. Welcome to Greenlawn. This video covers how a Greenlawn valve is manufactured. Chapter 1, the solenoid. Part 1A, the coil. Varnished covered wires prepared and small plastic spools. On this machine, 4 spools are slid onto a spindle and securely mounted into place on a spinner that resembles a lathe. The wire is fed through these tensioner pulleys and guided down into the spools. Each spool is threaded in an exact manner to ensure the wire will spin onto the spool evenly. No step can be missed or the small wire will not line up correctly when the spindle turns. The machine is calibrated to move back and forth at just the right rate to line the wires up in even rows. Meanwhile, the pulleys maintain the necessary tension. Tape holds the wire bundle in place. The wire is a loop with 2 wire ends exposed out of the spool. The spools are stacked, ready for the next phase. Pre-tinned insulated wire is cut and stripped, 1/4 inch on one end and 3/4 on the other. The insulated wires are lined up. One wire is twisted onto the coil wire. The solder is prepared, and the twisted pair soldered together. The wires are twisted 3 full turns before soldering. Both insulated wires are twisted once more and securely taped to the coil. It is important to make sure to separate the soldered connections with a piece of tape. Finished coils are collected and stored for the next phase.
Got some controls here that will dispense 1 rod at a time, and since I just switched to a different job here, I have to recalibrate everything for different size rods.
The CNC machine is a very sophisticated lathe that can be programmed to precision cut, drill, and grind stainless steel rod. Each piece is detailed to 1/1000th of an inch tolerance. It uses vegetable oil that continually recycles as a coolant. The machine can create one complicated finished product about every 30 seconds, all day long. Notice the copper ring on top of this rod. This rod is installed inside the post the plunger is pulled up against inside the solenoid. The copper ring must be pressed into a groove the lathe drilled into one end of the rod. As a safety precaution, it takes 2 hands to make the press active. The pieces are shook to verify the copper ring is fixed. The finished copper-clad rod is attached to this hollow piece by the use of a press. 2 copper-clad rods are loaded into the press, then 2 hollow tubes. Again, it takes 2 hands to operate the press. This is the finish post that the plunger slides inside of when the solenoid is activated. Part 1C, the cup. This solenoid cup was made with an injection molding machine, which we will cover in another video. 2 cups are placed in the press, and then finished posts are placed inside the cups. Hands out of the way, and the posts are pressed into the cups. Here's a finished cup ready to go to the epoxy room. Part 1D, epoxy. This metal sheath is wrapped around the coil, and they are both placed into the cup on a holding table. A bead of superglue holds the assembly to the post inside the cup. The wires are grouped and bundled out of the way. Hundreds of cups with coils are readied for the epoxy process. The epoxy is a serious two-part product that dries rock hard and seals the cup watertight. A large syringe is used to accurately inject the epoxy into the cups. Making sure the cups are level is important. "70% isopropyl alcohol is sprayed on the newly poured epoxy to break the bubbles that occur on the surface from the chemical reactions taking place. It will take 2 full days for the epoxy to completely cure. Before the plungers can be inserted into the finished solenoids, just like home, they must be washed. Greenlawn, lowest profile angle valve, no spring necessary, no corrosive parts, extremely long-lasting diaphragm, high flow rates. Check it out. Thank you for watching another Irrigators Underground online magazine tutorial, how sprinklers are manufactured.